a thinker, like he's an intellectual, and he's just trying to teach people in a deeper way his thoughts about the world. And some of those thoughts include things that people don't agree with.
You didn't see a lot of hate in there, I take it, eh?
No, and I wouldn't have been here, right?
There's been more than 30 Ottawa community groups that have tried to cancel this event. They have called him a racist, a misogynist, a transphobe, a homophobe. Did you see any evidence of that on stage today?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He was so kind. He was just giving opinions and he was just laying things out. And like, you can't be mad at stuff like that.
Ironically, he's very inclusive, and it's just so much propaganda by the legacy media.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in the Ottawa suburb of Kanata, Ontario. And folks, today's report is brought to you by the letter C. C, of course, Ottawa being Canada's capital city. The venue behind me is the Canadian Tire Centre. And of course, there seems to be an obsession in this city with something else that begins with the letter C. That would be cancel culture. Tonight, Dr. Jordan Peterson is at the Canadian Tire Centre. Thousands have packed in to hear him speak. But the real story is that for weeks now, various community groups, more than 30, many of them funded by the Justin Trudeau Liberals, if you can imagine, have been trying to cancel the Jordan Peterson event. They've been putting pressure on the Canadian Tire Centre to deplatform him. He's speaking right now. It's just about to wrap up. We've been here all evening. We've been waiting for the demonstrators who were threatening to come and disrupt the event. They're a no-show, but it is really amazing the hatred out there for the good doctor. For example, spearheading this latest example of cancel culture in the capital, Ottawa City Councillor Ariel Troster, and in an open letter, she writes the following. Ottawa has seen a rise in hate against 2S LGBTQ plus people in recent years. Jordan Peterson's event undermines the work that the city and community organizations are doing to create stronger and more equitable communities, end quote. So a Dr. Peterson speech here at the Canadian Tire Centre somehow makes the Ottawa area unsafe, as though there are downed power lines. Just astounding, actually. As well, a coalition of groups released a statement condemning this event last week. The group noted that Dr. Peterson was an avid supporter of the Freedom Convoy. Oh my God in heaven, why isn't he in jail like Tamara Leach? Why hasn't his bank accounts been frozen, if that's the case? The group goes on to state the following, quote, "This is not the only reason that we express our concern around this event. The toxic and often violent rhetoric touted by Peterson, whose quasi-academic ideas are misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic, and racist, has led to an increased environment of hate, especially toward the trans community, that has been very present in Ottawa," end quote. Well, where do I begin, folks? First of all, no tangible examples of all this transphobia, homophobia, racism, etc. are given. So they're just really ad hominem attacks, which pretty much means these groups really don't have a good argument to make. And I should say the letter was signed by more than 30 organizations, including the Ottawa Historical Fencing Society. Good golly, in this cancel culture obsessed city, even swordsmen have it out for Dr. Peterson. Unbelievable. Well, as I said, the crowds are about to come out of the building any minute now. We're going to talk to them, see how they enjoyed the event, and get their take on why there was such pressure for so many weeks to have this event canceled in the first place.
Well, number one, I'm not even sure if people actually listened.
So how was the show, first of all, ma'am?
It was really good. He's obviously very smart and a good speaker. And he's so like all over the internet on YouTube. You can access all of his content. So it feels like you already know a lot about what he's going to say.
I've been following Jordan for at least five or 6 years, I guess, now. So I feel like I've been on quite a journey along with him.
Look at all the different people. We were talking about the ages here.
Yeah.
Younger, older, I'm older, but lots of young people. And just ironically, he's very inclusive. And it's just so much propaganda by the legacy media. And the biggest issue we have in this country is media separating us. And it's really important that we all come together.
He was so kind. He was just giving opinions and he was just laying things out. And like, you can't be mad at stuff like that.
It was very good. I enjoyed. It was quite insightful. In fact, when he talked about like the order and chaos aspect of Exodus, I found it quite interesting.
As much as I like Jordan Peterson, he was kind of, pushing Daily Wire and his new content and stuff like that. A lot of stuff he'd done before. I mean, we didn't stay for the whole show, but with traffic and the weather, can you blame us,
When you hear him speak, you can't help but be impressed by the words that he's saying. Yes. He speaks words that resonate with people, and there's a reason why this place is loaded up tonight.
For weeks, the story has been there's been like over 30 groups trying to get the Canadian Tire Centre to deplatform Dr. Peterson. They have called Dr. Peterson racist, misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic, yet they don't give any examples. Did you get any vibe of that kind of narrative from what you saw tonight?
Do you mean from like his presentation?
Yes.
Any of that kind of? No, none of that rhetoric. No.
Yeah.
Well, number one, I'm not even sure if those people actually listen to what this man has to say, because it's just common sense. It's 100% common sense, and it seems like it's the truth. It's coming from the heart.
Yes.
So when someone talks like that, it's kind of hard to disagree with. I don't know.
I have a feeling all those groups who said that, probably none of them showed up to see it for themselves.
He's a thinker, like he's an intellectual, and he's just trying to teach people in a deeper way his thoughts about the world. And some of those thoughts include things that people don't agree with, but that's, at the end of the day, their opinion against an intellectual who knows a lot about what he's saying. And he did make the point that there was these groups that made these comments, but no one showed up to protest, so they can't care that much about it.
There's thousands and thousands of hours of Jordan Peterson online, and if there was that evidence, man, it would be plastered all over the place, I'm sure.
Well, I can't speak to the false accusations, but what I can say is they depend on those name calling to get their government money. So if they're not making a scene, then they're not getting paid. So that's why they're so loud.
They're just confused, and it's unfortunate that they're putting their confusion on us and that we have to conform to their confusion. It's not right, it's not order, and it's just, I'm tired of it.
I've been following Jordan Peterson for a couple of years. It definitely changed my life for better, so I support his work. Definitely nothing misogynistic.
I often find that when someone that you'll find from the left is when they disagree, they tend to slander to try and silence the speaker.
Well, he stands up for the truth, right? He's got great principles, and obviously the far left do not like him. They're going to crucify the guy, and he means well. I love him. I love his videos, and I'm thankful for people like him that stand up for the truth.
I'm not surprised. This is Ottawa, guys. We know what Ottawa's all about, right? But I mean, if there was such a big demonstration, where are they tonight, right?
Why is there such an environment of cancel culture today?
It goes against like what they believe, and they don't like getting challenged because that might mean they're wrong, so it really attacks them personally. So they seek to just cancel it instead of having a discussion.
I think people try to hold their own opinions and say things that they hold true and that they think are the truth. And it's difficult when you have people that are tearing you down when you're not. You're not saying things that are rude. You're not saying things that are misogynistic. You're not being a bigot. It's just your opinion on something.
I look at some of the people, some of the organizations, several of which are funded by the Justin Trudeau Liberals, by the way, and one is the Ottawa Historical Fencing Society. What do the Swordsmen of Ottawa have against Dr. Peterson?
They're just like taking jabs, like what else is it? I think, yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, they're in cahoots with like Horizon Ottawa and there's some of these people that I've had run-ins with. But
why did the Swordsmen of Ottawa have it in for Dr. Peterson?
Maybe they're just having some problems confessing how they really feel. They're into the jousting, and they just they haven't come to terms with their feelings for him yet.
I don't know. Probably to seem popular so they don't get canceled.
I don't know. I never knew there was a historical fencing society. Maybe I should get my kids in that instead of football and hockey. I don't know.
Well, as much as those 30-plus organizations tried to cancel this event, it did not happen. In fact, folks, talk about the Barbara Streisand effect when it comes to the law of unintended consequences. Indeed, the other day, Jordan Peterson tweeted this, quote, "Thanks to all 36 groups protesting my forthcoming January 30th Ottawa lecture, many groups funded by Justin Trudeau's Liberals. We've been forced to expand seating to accommodate all the extra purchasers of tickets, end quote. So score one for taking a brave stance, score one for not buckling to the censorious thugs of cancel culture. Our hat goes off to the Canadian Tire Centre. They could have bent the knee. Instead, they said no. Freedom of speech is a thing, and they are not going to be bullied by those who have a problem with freedom of speech. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.
Only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you.
Hey folks, you probably heard the College of Psychologists of Ontario, they're out to get Dr. Peterson, not for any shenanigans he's done with a current or former patient. He just doesn't have the right politics for this college. Absolutely shameful. Please go to our new website, that's savepeterson.com, savepeterson.com. Let's send a message to this college that they have indeed crossed the line.